Hey, everybody. Welcome to Rock, Paper, and Grenades. I'm Matt Connerton, and to my right is the Honorable Gary S. Hopper.
Matt, top of the evening to you. I haven't seen you since 5 minutes ago.
That's true, yes.
You want to tell them about this before we get going?
Yes, the Trumpkin, or Trump Pumpkin. This was painted by John Hopwood's sister, Debbie, and we're actually auctioning this off. You can place bids on the on my Facebook page. That's probably the easiest way to do it. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants with this, but we're up to $10 on this. So this can be yours, and it goes to benefit the Payson Cancer Research Center in Concord at Concord Hospital. So
how much are you taking out for organizing this and administrative fees and?
We're not a nonprofit.
Like all the $10.
We're not a nonprofit, so we're not actually keeping any of the money. We're donating
what?
It all. Yes.
Oh, like
wow.
We don't.
100%.
We don't have a CEO to take
pay,
that. So
to pay off.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So
awesome.
there you go.
Anyway, our guest tonight, the super awesome Tommy Sharpe. This is your first time on the show, right?
No, it's not.
It isn't? Second
I've
time?
been here before.
You have?
I was here on.
Gosh, I
the
get brain damage, huh?
He told me he's been with you before.
Yeah. What's that?
with the fishing game.
That was. I think that was a
Oh,
long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I think that was
that's
when
right.
the studio was in the other room.
Your
Yeah.
guests need to speak into the mic.
You gotta. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, Tommy Sharpe is a friend of mine. He's the one who dragged me over those horrible roads up north after I broke my ribs.
We were taking the shortcut.
Yeah.
Oh wow! After you rode your bike up into
Yes,
the.
actually, I was doing teenage things in an almost 60-year-old body, and the Honorable Representative Al Baldasaro. We've been
Gary.
seeing you on TV, and I didn't know if you'd even come on the show anymore.
Well, I
now that
talked
you're
to my
wicked
agent,
famous.
my better half, and
Yeah,
she said
Judy.
it was good.
Yeah.
She,
Well, that's the only reason I figured I got you on is because Judy and I get along pretty
she
good.
said this was a 5-star show that I should come on it.
Where'd we get that rating? Wow.
That's what I heard the ratings were, so that's why I figured let me come on. And I brought my friend with me here, I hope you don't
The
mind.
bobblehead. Where'd you get that? Did you order that
My
online?
wife
somewhere?
ordered it online, yes, and, I figured it was fitting for the show tonight.
Hillary for prison.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's awesome.
But no, I've been busy, giving speeches on behalf of veterans issues, and so it's been fun. I think Donald Trump is going to sweep, the country.
I was listening to Hannity on the way here, and he had the guy. I don't know what position that is. It's like a state congressman in England. But anyway, he's the one who was pushing Brexit through. And you know how Trump? We just found out who's paying for it. But for forever, every time Trump would have a rally, these people would show up and try to start fights and everything else.
Right.
Same thing happened to him in England. Every time he'd go around to give a speech about Brexit, for those who don't know, Brexit was the
Brexit.
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 Mm-hmm.
British exit.
Brexit. Do it. I got it. Was a move to take England out of the European Union because it was England. People in England believed that over time the European Union had more control over their lives than their own country did, and their own government.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to separate from that because they were being forced to take all kinds of illegal immigrants and everything else, and they got sick of it. And so this guy was saying that he would go around and do speeches, and all these people, like Rent a Mob, would come and attack and say things, scream things.
Probably George Soros' money.
Yeah, exactly.
They paid for that like he did for Hillary.
And the other commonality was that right before the vote, okay, all the polls said, there's no chance the non-Brexit vote's gonna, they're gonna kick their butts, 5-10 points easy. Don't even bother showing up. Same thing now. It's like a duplicate of what happened in England. And because that, to me, and I want to get your guys' view on this, but to me, that's what this vote's really about. Do we want to become part of an international community, which is what Hillary is standing for, or do we want to be the United States, one nation under God?
Globalism, in other words.
Globalism versus
the common
nationalism.
term,
That's
yeah.
what the fight is, because she wants... she said she'll do something about immigration. She's not going to do a damn thing about it because she wants all those immigrants, illegal immigrants, coming into this country and driving wages down.
Well, not only that, but the vote also. because in California, they give illegals driver's license.
Yep.
And with a driver's license, you can go into many states here and just vote. You got a driver's license, an ID.
Right.
And it's a shame there on what's going on. Donald Trump called it in Brexit. He said that it would not pass. Don't listen to the polls. George Soros dumped millions of dollars in there. He's dumped millions of dollars into Hillary Clinton there with all these different Black Lives Matter groups and other people to go in and riot or start fights at our rallies. I've been there. I've been all over the country at these rallies where people, I mean, they were vicious.
Yeah, there's
Pittsburgh.
a Project Veritas video about that.
That's
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
the emails are out. The Project Veritas, they got them on video saying what they did, and it's a shame. They should put charges on them people for inciting riots, destroying police cars.
Yeah. Oh no, that's just it. It's why isn't there any charges against this?
I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing with burning flags. Why aren't there any charges? I understand freedom of speech, but there's laws that say you need a burn permit when you're in the city streets. It's litter if the flag burns and blows in other areas. Why ain't they charging them with those charges? I bet you after you start finding people, they'll stop burning flags.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on that. I think to me the First Amendment is, and I'm not in favor of flag
Does
burning.
the First Amendment give you the right to burn a flag or anything in a city street where you have ordinances that says you have to get a burn permit? We're a nation of laws.
Right.
If
Well,
you
if you
want to
started a
burn a
barbe-
flag,
if you started a
go get a
barbecue-
burn permit.
Right. I don't know that every city necessarily has that, but if you're in an area where, I'm just saying that I think we have to be a little bit careful about, I forget who said it originally. I wish I could remember because I love it, but someone said once, the First Amendment is to protect not popular speech, but unpopular speech.
I support the First Amendment in a heartbeat. Okay, Gary knows, and Gary and I are both constitutionalists. Both of us on the House Republican Alliance. We take our positions on constitutional issues, but there's a fine line there when you go against city ordinances.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not saying, hey, I respect your right to burn the flag. I don't like it, but that's your right.
Okay, so we agree then.
But what
I
I'm
understand what you're
saying is
yeah.
that in order to put a stop to these idiots, these non-patriots, then there's laws on the books for litter and also for burning without a permit. And I think police need to put violations on them.
Yep.
I agree with you, Al. But it's these people that are coming in are not even Americans. They're from other countries. And they came in and just walk all over our laws.
Can you prove that statistically, though, that everybody who comes here illegally is a criminal?
No.
But everybody that comes here illegally came here illegally for a reason.
Well,
Because-
no, actually,
Not
actually,
privileged-
he just out-argued himself because he said, "Can you prove that everybody who came here illegally is a criminal?"
Right.
They're not,
If you
it's not-
come in here
they are a
illegally,
criminal.
It's not a crime.
Yes, it is a crime.
It's not a crime.
It is a crime.
It's not a crime.
We have Immigration Act. We have borders.
How is that
I mean,
not a crime?
It's not a crime. It's not a felony. It's not. It's about as criminal
Okay.
as driving too fast on the highway.
Okay.
I'm not justifying coming here illegally.
But we have
I'm
federal
just saying it's
laws
not a
that they're
crime.
not complying with.
Right.
Okay, that are already on the books about coming into our country illegally.
But it's not. It's to actually be in the country illegally is not technically a crime.
Look up the definition of a crime.
Are
I
you?
think you're full of-
Yeah, I think he's full of it too right now. I'm shocked at Matt.
I'm not justifying it. I'm
used
just
to
saying
like
it's
him.
not a
I used
crime.
to like
That's
him
all.
too
Matt,
well.
are you familiar with the Immigration Act of 62? There's a few of them.
No, tell me.
You know
Okay.
these things, Al.
Now, I've been on state and federal relations and Veterans Affairs Committee for 10 years. I'm the former chairman. We deal with all state federal issues that come to my committee, constitutional issues, all that. Now, in the Immigration Act of 1962, and the people watching this Google it, okay, it talks about that we have the right to ban groups that want to overthrow our government. Now, it's in law. Now, these people coming in, and I'll use what Donald Trump said on Muslims. We have to ban Muslims until we're able to fix the system with the government.
But you're speaking in
Now
generalizations.
listen, I'm going where I'm going with this
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Now, these people, okay, that we have the right to ban, in their Quran or Sharia law, talks about overthrowing governments. Okay? We already have a law in the books there. Now let's go to the border. Obama, 2 executive orders, have a catch and release. Okay? Recently, We had a court case in the Supreme Court, went all the way up to the courts, that said it was unconstitutional. Okay, that a president cannot make an executive order that's law on the immigration law.
Sure, yeah.
Giving
Or
them
that
permission to come
supersedes
in.
the law.
That supersedes.
Yeah.
All the lower courts said no, they said it's unconstitutional.
Okay.
When it went to the Supreme Court, now there's 4 and 4s. Scalia passed away. 4 justices said it's constitutional. The 4 liberal justices.
Sure.
4 conservative justices said no, it's unconstitutional. So they went by the lower court. 1 liberal judge, Supreme Court justice, would have made our country a kingdom. What I mean when I say a kingdom, meaning a president will be able to make laws through executive orders. If we have
Well, which every president's
Now-
done, not just
No,
Obama.
no, I know, but there's
no,
a
it would
difference
go to
between
it would go to every president in the future.
Okay.
Okay, but the bottom line is we can't have that. That's why it's very important for a Supreme Court justice to be able to hold up immigration laws. We have laws on the books. You just can't come into our country illegally. It is against the law.
I'm not justifying it.
Okay.
I'm just justifying.
What'd you look up?
I'm
What'd you find?
questioning. Oh, I didn't get to
Get
it.
up here.
When you come into this
My
country,
publicist is bringing me up something.
Oh, here we go.
my
Here we
better
go.
half.
Paragraph.
Okay, first paragraph. Each year, the Border Patrol apprehends hundreds of thousands of aliens who flagrantly violate our nation laws by unlawfully crossing U.S. borders. Such illegal entry is a misdemeanor, and if repeated after
misdemeanor.
being deported, become punishable as a felony. Okay? Here it is in black and white. This
So a misdemeanor is
this
not
is
a.
off the immigration.
So
code.
are you going to
crime.
define a misdemeanor as a crime?
Of course it is.
Then when
You're
Speeding
breaking
is
the
a
law.
crime.
A misdemeanor.
Speeding is a crime?
Yeah, it is. You're breaking
speeding
the law.
is a crime?
Yeah, you're
Well,
breaking
then
the law.
they got to round us all up and put us in prison. then.
No, you're
no.
thinking, I think you're confusing crime with felony.
Right.
Okay, crime is doing something that's against the law. You've
Right.
committed a
A
crime.
violation.
We're all criminals then.
A violation when you get a ticket is considered, it's like
Okay.
a crime.
Okay. I'm not saying it's okay for them to come here illegally. I do want to be clear about that. But I get sensitive about. I think what we do
Wait,
in this
wait,
country
wait,
is
wait,
when we
wait,
group that we
wait.
call them all criminals.
Wait,
Whoops.
you're-
I'm sorry. I don't mean to hit the
That
prop
they
gun.
broke into our house. They illegally broke into our home.
exactly.
That's what they did. So if I broke into your house and went in your refrigerator and helped myself to this here and took your money there and because, welfare and all, that's okay if I come?
No, and I'm not saying it's okay for them to come here
But that's
either.
what- okay.
But
You-
we
you
have
support the
decades.
wall?
We have decades. Not really.
Yeah, but look at the drug flow. Look at here in New Hampshire. The drugs are pouring to the borders, okay, from other countries here.
I don't oppose
A wall
enforcing the border.
We'll
I'm-
slow things down. We'll put a stop to this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not all of it because they fly in and do certain drops.
But
you
why?
know?
But how's Trump going to build this? So many politicians have promised, "Oh, we're going to secure the border. We're going to build a
Yeah,
wall."
well,
We're
wait.
hearing it for decades.
Yeah,
Why?
but-
Why is Trump somehow the magic guy who's going to get it done?
Because every other politician, including Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, said that they were going to stop the flow of illegal immigrants. The problem is there's too much money involved in
Exactly.
not stopping it.
Oh, I agree. We've
Okay.
talked about that on the show.
Right.
Yeah, it's a big scam.
So in other words, they'll claim that they're going to put a stop to it, and she says she wants stronger border enforcement, but it's a lie. They are lying to the American public.
I agree with you there.
Because
Yeah.
the big banks, okay, and the people that are inside the system do not want that stopped.
Right.
They love
They want
having
the cheap
people-
labor.
Right.
They want cheap labor,
Yes.
Yeah.
which suppresses the overall labor market.
Right.
The reason you can't get a job in places like Chicago and different places like that is the economy and the entry level jobs are not there.
Well, a lot of these restaurants, though, in metropolitan areas can't find enough help.
I had a restaurant in Somerville, Mass. My family did.
Yeah,
Italian restaurant and sports bar.
yeah.
In the city there is Somerville, Mass. Is like a sanctuary city. If you want workers, you can go down to the park, okay, where the pool is in, near McGrath Highway in Somerville, and pick up all the employees you want, all the illegals. Nobody does nothing.
Right.
They let it go. So contractors pick them up, pay them under the table.
Right.
That's against the law.
Right.
Against our tax laws.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we shut the restaurant down because of the gangs. The
Oh, really?
Brazilians and other, the MSG, I think 13.
In some,
In
this was in
Somerville,
Somerville?
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
We had 2 shootings
Oh, wow.
up the street.
Yeah.
You know, they end up in the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
So rather than lose a son or a daughter, you know, over or an employee over chasing nickels and dimes, we shut the restaurant down.
I don't blame you.
There is more crime going on in our country. Just look at what Governor Perry there, why he put the National Guard on the border in Texas, because of the crime on the Texan. Look at New Mexico. Look at Arizona. Look at Governor Jan Brewer, what she did in her state, trying to stop the illegal, the crimes that are going on. All this stuff, the liberal media is hiding all this stuff. Okay? They don't want you to know that. They want you to think pitches and cream. To get back to something else before we... When I said about the Muslims, I'm talking about people coming in from other countries. I served in the Marine Corps with some Muslims, some great people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And Donald Trump there knows that we got great doctors, we got, you know, some great people in our country. So not all Muslims.
Of course.
But
yeah.
there's got to be a system to vet these
But
people
it
coming
already-
into our country.
Yeah.
It already takes
Whether
them
it be
2
the
years to
border
get through the process.
Or whether it be to
No.
our airfields.
No, I totally agree with Trump on that. Unless you, it's for instance like the ones coming in from Syria. Syria is so, and it's part Obama's problem, and that's what the other thing I don't, you know, I don't want to keep talking about immigration because I want to get to something else, and it's kind of tangentially related. I don't understand. There's so many liberals who stood at the State House holding up peace signs when Bush was there. Remember when Bush was there and he went into Afghanistan?
Right.
And went into Iraq, I'm sorry, Iraq. They're all up there, you know, stop, peace, 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 peace. Obama has continued the wars. They destabilized Libya. Hillary is on tape laughing about having Gaddafi killed, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought was against. It was actually a presidential order
creepy.
that said that you can't just go and assassinate
Right.
a leader of another country. But she's laughing about killing
Yep, you're
Gaddafi.
right.
Yeah.
Completely
She's a criminal.
completely destabilized the area, so much so that people from Libya and Syria have tried to exit the area and get to Europe. Okay, so they're destabilizing Europe.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a
It's,
mess.
it's a horrible, horrible mess, and I don't understand where are all these people that love peace and they're supporting Hillary. Hillary's the biggest
That's-
warmonger.
It's
She-
just partisanship is all it is.
She
No,
also
it's
she
not
also
partisan. I
said
disagree there. I mean,
she also said that if she was elected, she would enforce a no-fly zone
Which
in
is crazy.
Syria,
Which is crazy.
means you are willing to go to
Right.
frickin' war
Yeah.
with Russia,
Right.
and they're claim and these are peace people on the left who say they love peace and everything else. Hillary Clinton is the biggest warmonger in history.
Well, I've always said, you've heard me say it many times, I think she's a neoconservative. I think she would have been very comfortable on the George W. Bush administration. This is something that, and I don't support either candidate, but one thing I do appreciate about Trump is he sounds more reasonable when talking about something like Syria, because she does frighten me, and I agree with you, Gary. A no-fly zone is inviting World War III. That's inviting a confrontation with Russia, and Trump does sound much more. I don't think Trump has the appetite for interventionism that somebody who's a neocon like Hillary
It's not that he has
does.
the appetite. It's that
No, I don't
to
think he
put
does.
America first.
Right.
He wants to rebuild America instead of us providing security for all these countries.
Right.
And he states in there, if you want us to provide, if we're there helping you, our friends,
Yeah.
you got to pay.
Yeah.
We're almost $20 trillion in debt. Give you an idea. I mean, like Donald Trump's vision, you know, to work with Congress to fully repeal the defense sequester. I served under 5 presidents. I don't know if anyone here served in the military. You were in the
I did not.
My dad was
Fire
So,
department.
My dad
fighting,
was,
That's right.
yeah.
No, my dad-
He's fighting wars in the streets here, putting out fires, saving people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, him
No,
and our
Al,
good friend,
I
Fred
have to.
Doucette.
I have to take credit because I had my father was a drill instructor in the Marines, and I grew
Hoorah.
up under that.
So you were tough. He's
So
making you real.
it was pretty much
Right.
like being in the service.
But to give you one idea on Donald Trump's vision is to rebuild our military. The 5 presidents I served, Carter destroyed our military. We had no money for training, no money for bullets, no money for flight time. Reagan came in and rebuilt the military. Okay? We got the George Bush. He took care of the military, where we rebuild the military. If you notice, we took out of Kuwait in 3 days. Okay, the Desert Storm was 3 days.
Oh yeah, it was quick.
Desert Shield, the buildup took longer. Do you know why the buildup took long? Because the Marine Corps, we were so organized with our pre-positioned ships.
Yeah.
Because we have ships that just go to a certain area,
Yeah.
offload, and we fly Marines in, take the equipment, and go. We had to send our pre-positioned ships back to get the Army's tanks and bring them in to get them in place. That's what took us a lot longer.
Yeah.
But anyways, with all the cuts and the drawbacks, look what's going on in our military. I mean, I got a son who's a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps. I'm scared if Hillary Clinton is his commander-in-chief. Okay? Right now, they're taking parts off of planes at graveyards, at museums. Pilots are complaining they don't have the money for fuel to get the flight time that they need to practice. We have different exercises going on that they have to cut because of sequestration. It's a disgrace. Most Americans are in their little bubbles and have no clue what's going on in real world. And Trump got a handle on it. He's got a lot of power that's, talking to him.
But let me ask you this: so, how does Trump, in theory, address sequestration? I mean, it's not like he can just go in and say this is done. I mean, what does he do as
What he would
president?
do is probably have to, if it was audit, like he says in here, I have his vision right in front of me, that he wants to increase the size of the U.S. Army, 540,000 active duties. With the Army Chief of Staff says he needs to execute current missions, rebuild the U.S. Navy towards a goal of 350 ships, provide the U.S. Air Force with 1,200 fighter aircraft they need, grow the U.S. Marine Corps to 36 battalions, invest in serious missile defense. Now, how do we do this? First of all, we need to audit the defense. Department of Defense has to be audited. We have to audit Health and Human Services because he talks about this.
Yeah.
Okay? Because there's so much waste, fraud, and abuse in those areas.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to
No
audit
doubt.
the VA. If it was up
Yeah.
to me, we're putting trillions of dollars in the VA. It's not working. 20 veterans a day are committing suicide.
Yeah.
Thousands of dying,
It's-
waiting for appointments, waiting in line
It's
to
disgraceful.
get in throughout the country.
Yeah.
Veteran in New York and in North Carolina within the last month and a half were looking for mental help, and what they do, they go out in the parking lot and shout themselves.
There was that suicide hotline. Remember
Right.
this? I think it was about a year ago. The suicide hotline. It went to a voicemail that nobody knew how to access.
I just took a veteran and his father by the hand to the VA last week,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The father called me on the phone at 8 o'clock at night. They called the hotline and went to a voicemail, the crisis line.
Yeah.
I said, okay, right now, I said, stay with your son for the night, meet me at the VA 8 o'clock in the morning. Went to the VA. I didn't go in to see a doctor, this or that.
Yeah.
Went right to the director's office. Next thing, she wasn't there, at the time. Chief of Staff came in. Then they brought in the other person that handles crisis line and other stuff. We sat at the table. Before you know it, they took care of this veteran. The Chief of Staff, who's a doctor who still sees patients, he said, I'm going to take you on myself. Now, this guy's a lot of his friends were killed.
Yeah.
3 of his friends committed suicide. And he's got this, why him, why am I alive?
Yeah.
And he lost a lot of friends.
Survivor's guilt.
Survivor
guilt,
guilt,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, and this guy started his own little construction company, but he can't, he's getting ready to lose everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he called me a couple days later, his father, the same thing, thanking me very much.
Yeah.
But see, this is what we need to do. When you hear cases like this, you got to get them right into the VA, and you got to go right to the director.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks it's peaches and cream. If I didn't do this here, if you calls, we'll make your appointment. We'll do this. BS.
Right.
You get them in, you take care of it right then and there.
Yep, it's it's not quite the same thing, but it's a lot like what we're dealing with the heroin epidemic. When somebody needs help with heroin, they need it right now.
That's right.
You
wanna
put
go there?
you put them off.
You want to go there?
Go ahead. No, Tommy
Really?
knows this better than me.
Yeah.
My son died from heroin a year ago.
Oh my God.
And
I'm so sorry.
he tried to get help. He didn't have medical insurance. And it went on for weeks. And he eventually found him dead in the bathroom floor up in Laconia.
God.
About 10 months later, my wife's sister's daughter tried to get into a rehab here in Manchester. And there was a waiting list. She was trying to get off heroin. She wanted help really bad.
Yeah.
And she died from heroin while waiting to get on the waiting list.
That's
And we had a veteran that we're related to that he had the same thing. We tried to get him into a rehab to get him off of opioids, and there were waiting lists. They said up to 30 days.
Wow.
I'm
That's
going to
awful.
tell you what they said to me. If you're illegal or a minority, you'll go right to the top of the list. My wife was flabbergasted.
Wow, what a disgrace.
And thank God for the VA.
Yeah.
We brought him down to the VA in Massachusetts, and they took him right in. He's still there.
Now, you know, Massachusetts has the bed space for this here. In New Hampshire, we don't have the bed space. We have to go to Maine, and we have to go to Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Or
there's no
go to
there's no
Vermont.
VA hospital
There's
here in
no-
New Hampshire,
no,
right?
we have an
Are we-
urgent care center.
Are we the only state with that one?
No, I think Alaska, I think, is another one.
Oh, okay.
But they have military hospitals there.
Yeah.
I give you an idea what about my wife and I were in Florida. And I always answer my cell phone. She says, "What are you doing when you're on vacation?" I said, "It could be a constituent in need."
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we got a call from somebody there that their son, 28 years old, finally realized he had a drug problem, that he wants to get help.
Yeah.
28 years old, had committed, thought about suicide and other stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, between my wife and I, we're in Florida now. I'm on my computer. I bring up the Medicaid site. Had no insurance. Sent the information to the mother to get him enrolled right then and there. She got him enrolled. We said we'll give it 24 hours because this guy went to emergency rooms. All they do is they sit there for a while and then they send him home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got no help because he had no insurance.
Right.
But hey, make a long story short, what we did after that, I contacted Medicaid. We fast tracked his Medicaid, and then we turned around and got this guy into a program, and he's doing great. Okay, within a couple of days.
Good.
So hopefully legislators are out there understand and know the system on how to handle this here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I called the director's office,
Yeah.
and boom, next thing you know, here, this is the person you want to talk to. They put me right to the person,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, they took care of this guy,
You're
got
able
him in the
to-
system.
You're able to get past
Right.
the bureaucracy. Yeah.
I think that's one of the big things. Is the bureaucracy in these places is so huge.
Oh,
But why
yeah.
did it take a
no-
legislator? Why couldn't mom or dad get through to
Exactly.
these people, to the
Right.
government?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. I've gone to meetings for people, like, they call me up, hey, will you do this? And I go there, and it makes a difference that I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And it aggravates the heck out of me that that's necessary.
Yeah.
It's insane. It shouldn't make any difference. But yeah, it's now the other thing we got going on is, I one good thing about getting kicked out of work a few years ago, I get to listen to Rush Limbaugh now. And I remember, well, I couldn't do it before because I was at work.
Right.
I remember when they did Obamacare, Rush said, this is a setup. Okay? This is designed to fail. And he had support for that
Right.
idea.
I remember
right?
hearing that.
He said, this is designed to fail because what they want is a single payer system, basically a national, health department. Okay, so that everybody has to get their health. Unless you're rich, you're always good if you're rich.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us schmucks, we'd have to go through the federal government to get health care. Well, now he said it was designed to fail. When Obama introduced national health care, he said it was going to save every family $2,500 a year.
Right.
It now costs them $4,500 a year, and it's expected to go up 25% in some states
Yeah.
and 100% in other states. It's a total debacle.
Yeah, but you know what? Like you talked to Representative Janine Notta, she has to spend $12,000 out of her pocket before she even can use it. That's how much the deductible.
The
is.
deductibles are
Right.
gigantic.
It's out
yeah.
of control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what's the
And-
point of it? If
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to cost you $12,000,
Right. Unless something catastrophic happens, it's like not having insurance.
then that's why you could
Exactly.
get catastrophic health care probably cheaper.
You know, I was talking to a constituent there that's on Obamacare, and his deductible was $6,000. 8 months prior, he needed an operation. Went in for the operation.
Yeah.
8 months after, he had to go back in to get another operation. Two $6,000 deductibles because he was in the new year. Do you see what I'm saying?
God.
So
that's
now here's a
terrible.
family has to borrow and do whatever. The
Yeah.
father's out of work because he's sick. Okay, the money's not coming in.
Yeah.
But yet he has to borrow and do whatever and go in debt.
That's brutal.
And the whole idea was just to save people money.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a horror
It
show.
is. It's out of control. And I think with Trump's plan, and we tried it in New Hampshire, we tried to pass a law, which we need federal law, but it didn't pass, where we can go across lines, where we can group neighborhoods into family plans and other stuff there.
Yeah.
And it failed.
I always like the health savings accounts
Yeah.
idea, but for some reason that's never, maybe because no one's really pushed it
The
politically.
health savings
but-
account, I guess the biggest problem was it's a pretty good idea if it's you, because you're young enough and healthy enough where you could probably start accruing money. But the one reason the some of these companies are just bailing out of Obamacare, I don't know how many, but a lot of them, is that people that the only people that are signing up for Obamacare are the people that really, really need it.
Right.
So they're paying they were initially paying kind of low premiums, and the insurance companies are paying out all kinds of money to get, because they hadn't probably gone to a doctor for years.
For some people, it's cheaper to pay the penalty on
Right.
their taxes than
Oh,
to sign
yeah,
up for
of
insurance.
My son's
I don't,
27, said, why do I need insurance
I
right now,
don't-
Dad? I'll pay the penalty.
I don't have insurance right now.
You just hit
For that
something
reason.
rang a bell in my head there when you talked about on the health plan. My wife has a health plan, and she's on my medical, but she has a pre-tax medical card health plan where you can take money out to pay for deductibles and pay for other medical expenses and everything else.
Yeah.
Now, it's a scam in a way, because all the money you put into it for the year, at a certain date in the year, if you don't use all your money, you lose it.
It doesn't roll over, huh?
It don't roll over. They keep your money.
Right.
What a disgrace. And she works in Massachusetts.
Right,
that is
You
a
know,
scam.
and that's pre-tax money
Yeah.
that goes in there, and she uses it all the time.
Well,
You know?
that's not only kind of theft, but it's also ignorant, because now you're encouraging people to go get services they probably don't need,
Right.
which is costing money.
Yes.
So it's double stupidity.
I mean, I don't know how, like you're
almost like a
retired
hat
on
trick.
how your
That's one
insurance
more.
is,
Well,
you know?
my insurance, I get through my employer, being retired, but it's a group insurance, and my group insurance went.
Is it an HMO or?
No, it's a regular insurance policy.
Okay.
Because you can't have a Cadillac insurance policy now, even though you retired from the fire department.
I
right?
did. For me, with our insurance, is my wife has a job like your wife, and she has good insurance.
Okay.
That she had a Cadillac policy, I had a Cadillac policy, and we were both paying about $800 a month each toward our insurance company. And Obamacare came out, and with the deductible, if we were married and we're both on the same insurance policy, it cost us $5,000 deductible on my policy and $5,000 deductible on her policy. So what we did is she dropped me on her policy, and I dropped her from my policy.
Oh.
So now it's only a $2,500 deductible out of pocket for me.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
That's
wow.
a shame. Do you
And,
know?
well,
But before they got involved, the thing is before the Democrats got involved, and this is all Democrat. You can't blame Obamacare on
Right.
Republicans.
And I don't think
They
one
shoved
Republican
that
voted
through.
for it.
No,
but
not
my
zero.
The other thing was my $800 a month payment is now $1,800 a month a year
Wow.
later.
Oh, that is.
But the thing is that
Wow.
the Democrats shoved that through, and we have the famous quote from Nancy Pelosi. We'll read this after we pass it.
We got to
we can
pass it
read
to know what's in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is typical of
which
how
is
that works.
it is, and it was a scam. And the problem is, it was designed, quote unquote, and I forgot what the number is. It was theoretically 40 million people that were uninsured, and to the best of my knowledge, there's still almost exactly the same number of people that are still uninsured. Our insurance just really is horrible now, and
Where's all this
people
money
are,
going?
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Do you know what they did to the military reserves? If you're in the ACA, before, the military reserves that retired, let's say they did that 20 years. They went in 17, say they retired at 37 or older if they did 30. Now, you don't get your retirement until you're age 59 or 60, somewhere around there, okay, depending on how much active duty time you put in. They used to be able to keep TRICARE for their family and pay, the insurance and everything else. Under the ACA, you lose your TRICARE when you retire. It picks back up when you collect your retirement. So that means I'm going to use a guy like Major Dan Tamburillo. He's a major in the Marine Corps. He's a state representative. He's getting ready to retire. His insurance for his family is going away real soon when he retires. He has to go on the Obamacare now. This guy's done 22 or 23 years in the Marine Corps, okay, in the reserves. He had about 8 years active duty time. But now he has to pay all this big money now for insurance when there's a lapse when they used to cover veterans after you did your 20 years in the reserves.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And it's a scam.
So that went away when the ACA
That went
passed?
away because it was put in the ACA to get those veterans on there to help offset. Now, they didn't come after active duty retirees like myself because they couldn't.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the VA system and you have TRICARE, that was sufficient.
What is TRICARE?
TRICARE is the military insurance they have for retirees.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and then it goes when you turn 65. Then it's called TRICARE for life. You go on Medicare for life.
Okay.
It's a little bit cheaper, no deductibles and anything else.
Okay.
But now they're raising our costs 300% on the military. When we were told when I went in that we would we'd be covered.
Wow.
You know, with insurance.
Yeah.
And I did 22 years in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
You know, so they get you one way or another.
You know what? I was on a completely different note. I was thinking about this last night. That if you took, let's say this wasn't a presidential year, okay? And let's say it's not Donald Trump, it's not Hillary. There's a news story. Rich millionaire has recording of him saying something trashy about women.
Mm-hmm.
There's another news story that State Department worker receives millions and millions of dollars from Middle Eastern countries for favorable treatment. Which one would be news?
Well, in today's world,
No,
Donald Trump is.
No, I'm saying
He's
it's
changing
not
the whole
Donald Trump.
picture.
In a real world,
There's no election. There's no election.
In a real world, it should be the $12 billion, that was, to the state employee. That's fraud.
Right.
Which
Now-
one would be in jail?
Right. Now, same thing. Okay, there's a news report of a billionaire that 10 women come forward and accuse him of sexual harassment or whatever it is. There's also a news report that there's a State Department worker who has
Classified.
had classified information on a private server, and that classified information, some of which turned out to be top secret information, and when she found out that it was about to be revealed, had most of that or crucial parts of that information destroyed, and the employees in her department actually destroyed their devices
Physically destroyed.
and pled the fifth before Congress.
And this
Which
thing
one
where-
of those stories is actually newsworthy?
Of course, the Hillary. I mean, not the Hillary, but the one about the classified material would. Those 10 women in the real world would have taken that billionaire to court and got money
Years ago.
years ago. They would have.
But
They would have tried to sue that.
I
man if it
realize
was
that.
true.
I'm
Well-
not. I'm not trying to get into that. I'm saying if I'm kind of proving that CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and the like are on the take. Because one of those is a really legitimate story, a news story that people should be very upset about, and one of them is just salacious.
Well, that's why I have a slightly different take. I do. If you're saying there's bias, I agree.
Do you agree with the premise?
I agree with the premise that there's bias, but probably not for quite the same reason because I don't think it's that they're on the take. I think that we have a lazy mainstream media that when they see a story that's salacious, that's about sex, that's what they're going to gravitate to. I always go back to the first Clinton administration. So you had these scandals like Whitewater and Travelgate and whatnot. The media would cover those, but then they'd get bored after a while. Then Monica Lewinsky happens. The media's all in. Oh, now we got something about sex. It's salacious.
Right.
I think I do agree that there's bias in this coverage. Absolutely. And everything around Hillary is very important. But I don't think it's that they're in the tank for Hillary so much as here's something a lazy media can just talk about for hours and hours, and it's easy and it gets ratings and it's about sex.
Yeah, but what you don't think that the WikiLeaks things that came out that there's all this intercommunication between the media sources and the Clinton campaign and the private meetings between Podesta and the media. You don't think that's even relevant?
Oh, I do.
Well, you know,
I'm not saying it's not relevant.
Another example here.
You think that that's laziness?
I think we have a lazy mainstream media that would rather
That's
talk
right.
about sex.
I'm on Gary's side on this one. I don't think that it's lazy at all. I think that it's, they flat out lie to the public and flat out lie.
They're
about
not telling the
Donald
truth. You know, if you look at me,
They do.
I spoke as a veteran, okay, and I made a comment about Hillary Clinton that she should be charged for treason, but I said some other things.
Yes.
But-
You got national coverage for the other things.
But
Yes.
listen, but what I said was, as an opinion, American.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
who has put my hand up to put my life on the line, defend my country, an opinion in accordance with U.S. Code 18 and the Constitution.
And you have a First Amendment
And I
right
have
to
a
say
First
that.
Amendment. I carry
Yep.
New Hampshire in the New Hampshire in the U.S. Constitution. So I was attacked. Now, Maggie Hassan has a New Hampshire Democrat chair. If your listeners do a Google search on Ray Buckley YouTube, he's the chair. Family Values the Democrats here in New Hampshire. Listen to the words he says about bombing Nazi, Hitler, all this here, pulling his zipper down and doing all this other stuff. That's okay. Nobody's asking for him to resign.
No.
But yet Maggie Hassan comes out and wants me to resign. Because
Well, it's
I
politics.
had an
It's partisan-
opinion
it's partisan
in accordance
politics.
with the law.
She, when
You see what I'm saying?
no,
I do.
I remember you saying, I said, yes, awesome.
Well,
Somebody's finally saying it.
Right, I don't agree. But I don't agree with the death penalty. If
Okay.
you want to put her in prison and lock her up,
But it's in the then put a constitutional amendment and take it out.
but you understand though why it does,
Right.
why it plays against
Right.
you politically.
Repeal the law because the history of our country, we've had people that have been shot for desertion,
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
treason,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
okay, during time of war and other.
Right.
We have what you call aid and abetting the enemy, okay? When I said what I said was, I said, I'm speaking as a veteran, because even in the UCM Uniform Code of Military Justice talks about treason.
Right.
Anytime you knowingly have information of spies, special forces, people that are in other countries on special missions, and you put it on a private server, you're aiding, abetting the enemy.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Okay.
I'm not defending her.
Now,
I
as
just-
an American,
I just wouldn't shoot
I've had
her.
an opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, where is all the news in New Hampshire for the last 8-9 years that this has been out there, and he's been the Democrat chairman, but you got Maggie Hassan who talks about family values.
Yeah, but we have Maggie Hassan,
That's
also
She's a sociopath. Oh, excuse me. Did I say that?
Maggie Hassan. I gotta, before we run out of
I
time.
don't like
had to
Maggie.
pull
I
that
don't
in
like
there.
Maggie Hassan at all.
No, she's also the one who claimed she didn't know that the guy that was protecting the sex abuse at the it's a middle school, right? No,
Phillips
high
High
school.
School.
It's a high school,
Yeah,
private high school,
Private school.
private high school. So these are young kids. People were having sex with them. The guy who protected them, she hired on.
I didn't know about this.
Oh yeah,
Yes. Oh,
and, her,
yeah.
and her husband
And
was
she
a
played
principal,
stupid.
and he hid it.
Right.
He protected it. Okay, so
I think that the guy that was doing the illegal acts with these little girls, she actually put him on Rockingham
Oh,
some
is that-
kind of advisory committee. The Rockingham.
Oh,
Advisory
I thought
Committee.
it was the guy who protected
No,
it, not
was
the
was
guy who
perp-
actually did
was
it.
the perp himself.
It was the perp himself.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
We have a call. Should we grab this?
As long as it's not a perp.
Okay. Hi, welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. Who's on the line?
Hi, my name is Don. I'm from Manchester.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Don.
Hey, you guys were talking about, what's more important for the news to report for media. Mm-hmm. And one of the keys of that is two things. One, today's people almost want the sex talk more than the politics talk.
Well, that was my
Love the
point. That's what
topic.
gets ratings.
Yeah, it gets rated. And here's the big part. Money.
Yeah.
Right.
Certain things that these studios
Ad
work
revenue.
with, CBS, CNN,
What was his name?
it's all about
Don.
money. And
Don.
many, many years ago, my father was in politics in Manchester in the 80s. You could have a mayor go on television and have a debate, especially with the local media. Back when WMUR used to be on the north end of Elm Street. And you would have literally a debate of the candidates of a local community. And what was important to the TV station back then was broadcasting something that was important to the city. And nowadays, it depends on how much money the candidate has to even get coverage from them.
That's right.
Well, doesn't WMUR
Get a
still
lot
do
of
that?
money, you will get coverage. If you're, I'm not picking on anybody when I say this, you know, if you're going to be like Gatsis and have a lot of money to put into campaigns or Chris Sununu, you're going to get the coverage. But if you're not a person running that doesn't have the funds, they're not even going to spend time with you.
You know, Don, you're 100% right. If I may, I grew up, my grandfather was a 4-term mayor of Cambridge, Massachusetts. I grew up with Tip O'Neill, the Kennedys. I switched over to Republican 2 years after Ronald Reagan was my commander-in-chief. But one thing I remember as a kid, it was exactly what you just said. Tip O'Neill used to say, if there's no news, you make the news. If you're not in the newspaper, nobody knows you. Controversy sells newspapers.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, what's his name? Ted Turner. Ted Turner's father had a plaque, and Ted Turner used to have it on his desk, and it said the following: "Good news or bad news, just spell my name right."
Name recognition.
Ain't that right, Don? I agree.
Now, I just want to let you go on this real quick note. My father was mayor of Manchester back in the 80s. And let me tell you, that's when mayors even had primary debates for primaries on WMUR.
Right.
WMUR, and I don't care if they call me, doesn't give rat's tail for anybody in the city anymore because it's not important enough to discuss local stuff anymore.
Yeah, but I thought WMER did with the primaries there.
Yeah, I thought they did
with
do
the
that.
candidates.
Not really, not for the primaries as much, no.
Oh,
Way
'cause-
back when you
Yeah,
get on
because Josh
television about
McKelvin,
one.
who, I know
I want
that
you to
does
enjoy
a-
your night.
he does
Hey,
a
thanks,
The
Don.
media has to change with us first.
Oh, I
As
agree with you.
consumers,
They
we
got
don't
to
wanna change
report.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Thank you,
fortunate
Don.
somebody like Josh McKelvin. I mean, I think he
Yeah.
does a great job.
Didn't you say
on
he's a former
reporting.
Marine?
He served in the Marines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
He's a Marine.
Hey, so
Yeah.
I wonder. I was Tommy got me into the debate between Mag the Hag and Kelly Ayotte, and it was very interesting. They asked about the Second Amendment, and this is really important because I know there's a lot of like hostility. Some of the Trump people are upset because Kelly kind of turned on Trump, and it's all politics. And I got to tell you, as a viewer of this show, please stop letting your emotions make your decisions for you, because it's not relevant. Whether you're mad or sad or happy or unhappy about certain people, it's pretty irrelevant. What's really, really important, the most important, is the direction of this country.
That's right.
And Maggie Hassan, when asked about the Second Amendment, said that if she becomes a United States Senator, she will allow, and she talked about how much she loved the Second Amendment, she loved gun manufacturers,
BS.
and then turned around and said that she would help get through legislation that allowed people to sue the gun manufacturers.
Oh God! Even Bernie Sanders thinks
Yeah,
that's a
that's
terrible
crazy.
idea.
Okay,
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah.
so most people say, well, why shouldn't they be able to? The reason that's huge, to coin a phrase or to steal a phrase from Trump, is because right now they can already sue the manufacturer if your gun malfunctions.
Right.
If the gun's defective and it breaks and you get hurt, you can already sue them.
Right.
What they're talking about is Joe Schmidt comes in and shoots his neighbor, and his neighbor being able to sue the gun manufacturer
Yeah, it's crazy.
for
George Smith's
that
action.
crime that
Yeah.
somebody else committed. That would be like Ford being sued because somebody got mad and ran one of the Black Lives Matter
Or baseball, if you hit someone with a
protesters
bat
over.
or a
Right, right.
hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason they want this to go through is not so people can get justice. The reason they want it to go through, and the reason why Maggie's getting money from Bloomberg, is because they want to bankrupt the gun manufacturers. That's all it's
Right.
about. It has nothing to do with fairness.
Yeah.
It's a direct assault on the Second Amendment and the manufacturers of firearms in this country. You have to know this. You have to vote for Maggie because Kelly, I'm sorry. You have to vote for Kelly because Maggie will subvert, pervert, and destroy your Second Amendment.
Yeah.
And she will be one of the people voting on the next United States
You know,
Supreme Court Justice.
Gary, growing up, the Democrats in my lifetime, okay, when he's a young kid, were really moderate Republicans.
The party of JFK.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
The
JFK would
party
be a
left
Republican
me when they
today.
started going too far to the left in socialism. I read the Democrat platform, I read the Republican. I could say it in very easy words. If you want government in your home, take your guns and take your money, then the Democrats you should vote for. But if you want government out of your home, out of your pocket, and leave your guns alone and give you the right to protect yourself wherever you have the right to be, then the Republican Party is the one to be.
That's part of what drove me out in the mid-2000s, because I was a Democrat. I didn't become a Republican. I became an independent, but that's part of what drove me out.
I left.
The party left me too. That's how I felt. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's-
'cause-
there's the Kennedy Democrats, and now there's the Obama Democrats. And
They're two different, completely
Yeah,
different
they-
people.
Yeah.
They use progressive,
Opposite ends of
the
the
word
spectrum.
progressive now.
Yeah.
You know, it's the next closest thing to a socialist.
the one thing that I don't understand, and is that Bloomberg's spending all this money to try to take our guns away from us in New Hampshire, and I don't know the number of how many people are killed by guns in New Hampshire. I expect it's probably
Pretty
less
really
than
low.
50.
I think
Very
it's like
low. We're the
30 or
safest state in
something
the
a year.
country.
Yeah. Well, it proves the adage: an armed society is a
And
polite
everybody's
society.
up in arms, and they want to take the guns away from us.
Every liberal.
We had 9 people a week dying from heroin
That's
or
right.
opioids.
Yeah.
You ain't
And
kidding.
nobody's up in arms over that.
No.
It's okay for those 9
You
people.
know,
a
every
week to
liberal
die.
that talks to me about gun issues, and I've been all around the country there, and I explained to them how in New Hampshire our gun laws are a little more relaxed.
Same thing with Vermont.
Okay, the
yeah.
loophole in gun shows and the loophole in other, it's all BS in the background because we all get background checks when you buy it.
There's already a background check,
There's
yeah.
already laws.
Yeah.
It's scare tactics. But the bottom line is we're losing our rights. I put in a bill to go after the criminals. Okay,
Yeah.
and it didn't pass.
Well, what was the bill?
I wanted to make stricter, jail time if you're a felon and they got caught with a gun. They said, "Oh, we already have that." I understand, but I want them away.
Right.
If they pick up a gun and they're a felon for 5-10 years,
Right.
and
Right.
it didn't
Exactly.
pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yet they're spending more time going after law-abiding citizens.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a disgrace. Maggie Hassan is the wrong person. That's tax and spender.
Yep.
Maggie Hassan.
Yeah, I think we only have a couple seconds to go, but I think that's what this election really is about. It's not about personality and who's who, and it's really about, do you want this country to return to safe borders, a country, one nation, or do you want it to be just part of a conglomerate of nations, which is what
Globalization.
Hillary wants,
Right.
what Maggie wants? Do you believe that you have the right to defend yourself? Because Hillary and Maggie will do whatever they can to subvert that. It's really, really a simple election. Because if you watch the regular news media, you're going to hear all this garbage about different things. I'm sure they're going to come out with something new before the election, but it's all just distraction. Al, you get the last word. What do you want to say?
Gary, it's always a pleasure. I can tell the vets here in New Hampshire, I did help Donald Trump write his veterans plan, and we made damn well sure that we took care of veterans in New Hampshire if he becomes a president with the medical card, so veterans could go see any doctor, any hospital, and still rebuild the VA for choice.
I like that idea.
Okay, second to the last. I mean, I lied to you. Tommy, what do you got? What do you want to
I'd
say
just
before
like
we
to
go?
make one statement.
Go.
You know, hey,
She really is sick. She looks like she has
to add to
Parkinson's.
that,
Give her a dope slap.
if I may to add to that, the police, the fire that are out here, that are in the trenches there, putting their lives on the line, thank them like you do the vets.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
met some great people around the country, and we got police being shot. And,
Yeah, I guess
and
it's-
there's no reason for that.
No, there is
So
a.
thank a police
That is
officer.
not true. There is a reason.
It should never happen.
Nope, there is a reason. The reason is
It-
they are doing whatever they can to disrupt society,
Right.
so that you
Well, yeah.
will eventually accept a federal police force.
Right.
It is by design. It is not coincidental that Black Lives Matter is getting boatloads of money from people like George Soros. It is by design that the news media is not covering some of the garbage Hillary Clinton's been doing. It is by design. It is not accidental. There's no coincidences. I love you guys. See you next week.
Everybody.
I got the last word, and I lied up to both.
Yeah. That's right. Bill O'Reilly does that all the time. He'll say to say, I'll give you the last word, and then he doesn't give you the last word. All right, no one fast.